Brandel Chamblee, the lead Golf Channel analyst, and you can watch each day on Golf Channel alongside Justin Leonard and Rich Lerner. They have live coverage of the Open Championship at Royal St. George's Golf Club, and that will continue across all the NBC platforms. Golf Channel, Peacock, live coverage, second round currently airing on Golf Channel. By the way, Brandel Chamblee, I believe, picked Colin Morikawa to win the Open Championship. Let me start there. Was that your pick? Because that's a good pick right now.
Well, I appreciate that. I think I'm like 2 for 197 picking on Wednesday night since I started picking players. But but I appreciate that. I'll ride this wave while I can.
Well, this is a guy who's making his debut in an Open Championship. And I know he played in the Scottish Open. I just don't know how much prep time you need when you play courses like this, Brandel. I mean, that's pretty quick turnaround to all of a sudden be playing well on a golf course like this.
Yeah, it used to be that you needed a lot of prep time, but not anymore. I mean, they have things called Google Earth, and they can sort of plot out their misses left and right around a golf course. He doesn't have misses, really. He doesn't have big misses, that's for sure. And then you add to the fact that the golf course is a little softer than it normally plays. So I think that mitigates some of the experience you might need to have around there.
What is it like, though, that the shots you have to have imagination, I would think. But
well, yeah,
right.
Yeah, well, typically at an Open, the course goes out and back. So you'll have a left to right wind going out, say, and then a right to left coming back in. So you'll need to hold the ball into a left to right wind and then work it with the right to left wind. So you'll have to be able to work the ball both directions. This golf course just goes around in circles, not like all the other, seems like, rotation courses. But mostly you have to play shots that are through different windows. You got to, and Colin Morikawa was talking about that. So unlike most courses and most weeks on the PGA Tour in the United States, you got to work the ball up and down, left to right, right to left. So, and you have the best ball striker in the world right now leading the event.
What happened to Phil Mickelson?
Really, I think that's more apropos to say about the PGA Championship. I mean, he's only had one event all year long where he was better than, I think, 21st. He hasn't had a top 20 all year long, except for 1 week where he just woke up and played like Phil Mickelson when he was 25 years old.
We shot an 80 the first day.
Well, look, the worst part about this golf course is that the rough is really, really thick. And even Bryson Dechambeau earlier in the week was talking about the need to find fairways here. Bryson hasn't talked about the need to find fairways since he's been on tour, but he said so this week. Phil, as we know, typically drives it all over the lot. You get in this rough, you cannot recover.
Well, and that brings us to Bryson DeChambeau, and he was critical of the driver, not the person who is the driver of the driver. But how surprised were you that DeChambeau threw Cobra under the bus?
Never seen anything like it, ever. I mean, maybe there's been a time or two where players had problems with equipment, but those things happen behind closed doors, and they go sort them out. But he switched drivers. This is not the driver that he won the U.S. Open with. He switched drivers from when he won the U.S. Open, and this is just really poor planning on his part. He should have gone to the event with 7 or 8 different heads where he could have switched them out if he was having a problem with this new driver. And because of COVID restrictions, his whole equipment team couldn't be there. So, this would be like you having an off show and blaming it on the Danettes or your producers or something. It was bizarre. I've never heard anything like it. If I owned that equipment company, he wouldn't be playing my equipment next week, I don't think.
Wait, you're saying not to blame my guys when we have a bad show? Oh, okay. All right. Where were you a decade ago, Bryce?
I'm here to help, man.
And the one thing that I thought of with DeChambeau was, why are you hitting a driver on this course to begin with? It's not a long course, and it's about accuracy. Sometimes you bought into the show that you've created or that people want to see. If he goes up there with, a 3-iron, the gallery is going to be going, oh, he doesn't have the driver. Like, is he bought into, hey, you came to see me swing 200 miles an hour and my arms may fall off?
Yeah. Hey, listen, and it's a great point. If he hits irons down there and he can hit his 3-iron almost 300 yards. So if he hits iron down there and he's in the same place as everybody else, he's still going to have 2 clubs less than everybody else into the green. He'll still have the trajectory and spin rate. So in a lot of aspects, from a strategy standpoint and from just an equipment structure standpoint, this is all on him. And throw his equipment company under the bus, which, by the way, I made some calls yesterday to equipment companies, talked to various engineers. The engineer at Cobra who designs equipment, this fellow by the name of Tom Olofsky, he's sort of renowned as one of the smartest, if not the smartest engineer in golf, in all of golf. So completely threw his equipment company and the engineers under the bus.
All that being said, DeChambeau is great for the sport. Like he does give you a tune-in factor. As much as I love Jordan Spieth, he doesn't have the tune-in factor that Bryson Dechambeau does. Phil has tune-in. How many guys would you say true tune-in factor that maybe somebody's on the periphery of being a golf fan? How many golfers?
Yeah, look, Phil moved the needle. Obviously, Tiger in an unprecedented way. But Spieth definitely moves the needle, believe it or not. He absolutely, in this country, moves the needle. Rory moves the needle. But Bryson is compelling in a lot of different aspects. Not only has he done something nobody's done, incorporate long distance moves into his golf swing and then improve his driving in a crazy way, he's messy. He makes mistakes. He yells at reporters and cameramen for not protecting his image. He's socially awkward in the media center. He wants to tell you how much he knows, kind of like Phil, but Phil does it in a funny way. And Bryson does it in, I don't even know. I don't know how you describe it. Smug, ridiculous. He makes mistakes all the time off of the golf course. They're not colossal mistakes. They're clumsy mistakes. It's entertaining as hell.
Are you team Koepka or team DeChambeau?
Listen, when Koepka was calling him out on social media and asking people to go out and heckling, I thought Koepka crossed the line. I like Koepka. I really enjoy listening to him most of the time. I love his golf game. He's James Dean to Bryson's Eddie Haskell. Bryson is rubbing me. It's tough to pull for Bryson when he's acting like this. It really is.
By the way, Spieth was my pick. So
nice pick.
Yeah.
Look, of all the people on that leaderboard, everybody's got some weakness. Almost everybody is dealing with some weakness. He's the one right now that doesn't really have a weakness. He's driving it better than he has. He's an unbelievable iron player. And unlike Morikawa and Louis, Morikawa's not a great putter. Louis Oosthuizen's not a great ball striker. Spieth is great at everything.
I saw where Terrell Hatton broke his iron on 18. I don't know if it was a wedge or whatever it was, but he stepped on it a couple of times and then snapped it. What's the worst meltdown you ever saw on a golf course?
I was playing with a guy once who we were riding a cart. So he had to take, a handful of clubs over to his spot where he was chipping. This is a tour player. And he hit a poor chip, and then he took his wedge and decapitated all the irons at his feet. There were about 5 or 6 of them, just like click, 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 and they were all popping in the air. And in a second, we said like 7 or 8 holes left to play. He literally had no irons left after he was done. It was hilarious. I saw a guy. One of my buddies, Dudley Hart. He back when they used to measure how far you hit it off of the tee with the lines and not meters, right? So there was always somebody in the fairway who would walk off your drive, and the yardage started at 250, whatever. And Dudley had one of the worst tempers ever on tour. And so he hits this drive on a driving hole that hits a tree right off the tee, and it comes back like 20 yards in front of us. Okay. And I wish I could stand up and give you this, but out 250 yards away is a volunteer with a clipboard, and he's meant to walk this off. So now he starts taking these exaggerated big steps from 250 as if he's going to walk 230 yards back to the tee, right? And so he's giving it this, with the clipboard, and Dudley Hart sees him coming, and Dudley's just like a volcano ready to explode. And he just starts screaming at the top of his lungs, "Just give me effing 50 yards. Just give me effing 50 yards." He's giving it this. It was one of the damn funniest things I've ever seen.
Didn't Rory throw a driver into the pond one time?
He threw Bay Hill one year. He threw a 3-iron into the pond. right out in the middle of it. It was a great throw. It was a great throw. And it was on Donald Trump's golf course. Donald had it fished out, and he came up on our set the next day and gave it to us.
Any updates on Tiger Woods?
No, I've heard nothing. Absolutely nothing. I look, I'm like you. I mean, you call doctors, you ask, what the probability is of him coming back, and all of them say the same thing, that it just depends on this one particular bone in his foot. If it shattered it, he's probably done. If it was a clean break, he could probably come back. That's all I've heard, and that's just from doctors, not from Tiger's camp, obviously.
Always great to talk to you. Give my best to Justin and Rich Lerner. Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Thanks. Always nice talking to you, Dan.
That's Brandel Chamblee, the lead Golf Channel analyst. He's not afraid. Always got strong opinions. Coverage of the Open Championship all weekend long. You got NBC, Golf Channel, Peacock, live coverage of the second round currently going on